Hello there, Barbara Ragsdale here, independent maker with close to my heart. And this is a small correction video to the Gnomes for Spring it's scrapbooking workshop, the cardstock cutting video that I did. There was a small little error in judgment when it came to cutting the honey butter piece of paper. So if you noticed that note before you started cutting your honey butter, this is the corrected video for that, okay? I know where I went wrong and I didn't explain it in the other video because I didn't want to confuse you or me anymore. I happen to have an extra piece of honey butter and I wanted to do a separate video to show you the correct way to cut all of your pieces for your projects. So we are going to be working on the light side of honey butter. So make sure that you're on the light side. So I need to flip that piece here. And the first cut that we're going to do is going to be at 2 3/4 inches. Okay. And then take that piece and turn it to where the 12-inch piece is going long ways along the top. And we're going to cut it at 10.5 inches. Okay. This 2 3/4 piece by 10.5 inch piece is for project 4. So put that with project 4. This little piece that came out is scrap. And then the piece that we have left, we are going to cut it at, we're going to, let's see, we're going to turn this piece to where our 12-inch piece is long ways along the top. Okay. And then we're first going to cut it at 3 3/4. By the way, in my other video, this is where I went wrong. So 3 3/4. And then turn that piece landscape. And we're going to cut it down to 8 3/4. Okay. So this piece, this 3 3/4 by 8 3/4 piece is for P4. This little piece that came out is scrap. And then put your paper back in the way it came out. So it should be on the side that's measuring 8 1/4. And we're going to cut another one at 3 3/4. And then turn it sideways again and cut it down to 8 3/4. And the second piece that's 3 3/4 by 8 3/4 is also for P4 as well. And that little piece that came out is scrap. Okay. Now this piece right here that we have left, we are going to cut it. You're going to have some scraps either way we look at it. So keep it in your trimmer where it's long ways like this and cut it at, let me just double check. We're going to have scraps either way, so I would rather be safe than sorry. So let's do this. That piece that's in your trimmer, turn it to where the long side is along the top, okay? And cut it at 3 1/4. I want to make sure I don't lose a second time. And then turn that piece where the long side's landscape and cut it at 3 1/4 again. Okay, so we're going to have a 3 1/4 by 3 1/4 square piece. That is for P1. And this little piece that's hanging out of the trimmer is scrap. Now this piece that's left, it is 6 inches long. So we want to put the long side along the top and we're going to cut it at 4 1/4. And then turn that piece clockwise in your trimmer. And we're going to cut it down to 3 1/4. Okay, so ultimately you're going to have a 3 1/4 piece by 4 1/4 piece. Yay. That's for P1, project 1. And these two pieces that are left over, if you remember at the on the other video, we're going to be taking these two thin cuts. I can grab the other one. You've got two of them. I cannot grab it. And I have nails. We're going to be taking these two thin cuts, and you can use either one of these pieces of scrap, probably the smaller piece, but you will be cutting them on the darker side, by the way. And die cut you two of those pieces of thin cuts. This other piece that's left is scrap. But if you happen to have other pieces of scrap that you can get away with using, like this piece was even smaller, I would go ahead and like use that piece. So really any kind of scrap you have of honey butter, use the dark side and cut you a set of these two thin cuts. And then that is it. So I'm going to put that with that and put that in my scraps. And that is the corrected cutting for honey butter. So hopefully that helps. Hopefully you saw my note about this video. And other than that, we will see you in the next video.